Good evening. Man, it's a rocky start, but welcome everybody. This is the Veterans Breakfast Club. I'm Todd DiPastino. And as you know, we get together every Monday night at 7 and every Thursday night at 7, all Eastern times, to talk with veterans and share stories. And we originally were going to be talking with Dick Hughes, who was the founder of a remarkable project. He's not a veteran, but I mean, the guy went to Vietnam to work with orphans there, and he had the Shoeshine Boys project, and it's a really remarkable story. But he had to postpone, so we've postponed him till June, which meant that we substituted an open conversation for tonight. But then there's another twist to this story. The great Glenn Flickinger contacted a man named Jim Rasmussen in Minnesota, courtesy of Peggy Scholberg, and I see Peggy's on here, Don Patton, and all the good people at the World War II Roundtable in Minneapolis, connected us with Jim Rasmussen. And Jim was a navigator in the 100th Bomb Group through 33 missions with the 100th Bomb
33.
Group. He's 102 years old. And oh, do we have him here? Jim, are you Samsung SMS 931U? I'm guessing that's you. I'm going to ask you to unmute. There we go. Hey, Jim. Jim Rasmussen. Say hello if you can hear me. All right.
There,
Oh, there,
I saw his
those
face.
are Navy. Those are Navy SeaBee or World War II SeaBee that I
Oh,
just
it was
saw.
Richard.
That's our World War II SeaBee.
Okay.
Holy
Yeah.
mackerel.
We're-
So that's Richard Inlow.
Inlow.
Yes.
Inlow.
Yeah.
Richard
Inlow.
Inlow.
Call me Dick. Can you hear me?
Dick, yeah, Dick. Very, very honored to meet you.
Oh, well, honored to meet you too, sir.
And we were. It's funny. We're also supposed to be talking with Jim Rasmussen, who was in the 100th Bomb Group in World War II. But
Yeah, that's what I want to hear.
so you're here. You're on to hear him. Okay. Well, tell me, Dick, where do you live?
Danville, Virginia, right halfway across the Virginia state line, right on the North Carolina border.
And how old are you?
101.
101.
Yeah,
And you were a Navy SeaBee.
that's right.
And you spoke with Beth Russell here and Glenn Flickinger here earlier today, correct?
I did. That was fun.
Yeah, it
Well-
was, Dick. Lots of fun.
I mean, I'm just blown away. It's very fun to have you on the program here. And
Well, thank you.
Glenn, do you want to have a conversation with Dick while we wait for Jim to come?
Yeah, sure. I keep scrolling through looking for Jim, and I don't see it. I do have a phone number for him if need be.
Okay.
We kept emphasizing it's 7 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. his time, Central time in Minneapolis. So hopefully that didn't get sort of messed up. But look, the last 2 weeks, I have been inundated, I would say, with conversations with World War II veterans or potential conversations. And I'm just been thrilled, right? And besides Jim Rasmussen, who for the past week or so have been trying to contact through Don Patton at the World War II Roundtable in Minneapolis, and Peggy Scholberg. I think, Peggy, are you on tonight? Did I see your name? If you could unmute Peggy, somebody, I'd appreciate that.
Oh, yes, I see Peggy. Sure.
Yep, I'm on. Hello.
Hi, Peggy. Hi. Thanks so much for helping with arranging this with Jim.
Sure. I hope he gets on. I just tried to contact Dawn. I don't know who at Jim's family is going to help him, but I know he does manage a Zoom on his own. But yeah, he might have got the time wrong. So.
Well, if he doesn't come on in a few minutes, I have his phone number. I'll give him a call.
Okay, great.
Let's give him a couple. So anyway, we've been talking about trying to interview Jim for the past week or 10 days. And then Beth put me in touch with Dick Inlow. Beth, how did, I've forgotten now, how did you know of Dick Inlow?
Yeah, Colonel Joe Peterburs,
Ah, yes.
who I met at Storyfest. His granddaughter and I have kept in touch. Sabrina, she's amazing. And Sabrina had told me about Dick when I was in California and said we needed to get him on the show. He remembers everything. He can tell you all kinds of details, and he's incredibly intelligent, and he'll make you feel dumb, Beth.
All right. That's
And I think-
enough. If I don't remember everything, I make it up. So that's okay.
He actually used the word theorem in a sentence. Now, I am not a math person, so that word scared me a little, you know.
And
Sabrina might be with us. She might be on the Zoom here.
I thought I saw that name. Yes.
Yeah.
I'll have to send. Oh, I do see it.
So I gave Dick a call last week. He picked up the phone and we had a great conversation. And then we arranged for a Zoom call today between Beth and I with Dick. And basically, what we like to do, what I like to do, is went through Dick's whole story of his experience in World War II, in his life afterwards, which is quite a accomplished life afterwards. Dick as well. Math.
Well, he didn't talk much about my life afterwards. I try to hide it, you know.
Well, once you got the math professor, I was afraid to go any further because my math skills are limited.
Well, so are mine. I was just able to sort of pass on what somebody had told me. I'm not a real mathematician, but I sure enjoyed teaching it. Started out teaching English, but that, I don't know, somebody writes a sentence and say, I love my dog. Why did I get an A on that paper? And you can't explain that. It wasn't really a good paper. But in math, you can grade it and sort of defend your grade. So I enjoyed that more.
So, Dick, what SeaBee battalion were you a part of?
The 33rd primarily. I was in the 11th for maybe a month. And then they moved my replacement group to the 33rd Seabees, who had been in, well, they came back from New Zealand. As they came back from there, we joined them and joined the 1st Marine Division at the same time.
So knowing the military, I imagine you became a part of the Seabees because you were so very skilled with hammer and nails and carpentry and all those kind of trade skills. Is that right?
Oh, I was very skilled in basketball and football. I just graduated from high school, and they grabbed me and said, "Do you want Army or Navy?" And I said, "Navy." And so they put me on a train, and I got off at a SeaBee camp. That's how I became a SeaBee.
Did you even know what a SeaBee was when they told you?
No, I did not.
So you were young and strong.
Yes, I guess so. Young, strong, and not too intelligent.
I doubt that.
Exactly what they wanted.
Okay. Well, again, we were hoping to. I wanted to do some more research on your background on the Seabees, on Peleliu. So let me give the punchline if I could. Well, I'll ask you it in a question. I know you were involved in 2 battles. One was a battle I never heard of, Green Island in the
Neither did anybody else. Very small battle, but they gave us the star for it. I'm not sure why. We certainly, I don't think the Seabees really deserved the star for that one, but they gave it to us, and so we don't throw it back at them. We don't brag about it either.
Yeah.
When you think about what the Marines went through on other islands, we really can't say much about that battle. But Peleliu was different.
And that's the punchline. You were at Peleliu.
Yes.
You landed with the 1st Marine Division. I think it was Beth. I think we figured out was the 5th Marines. So the 5th Marine Regiment.
It was Yellow Beach. Which one was it, Dick?
I beg your pardon?
It was the northernmost beach where you landed.
Orange one.
Orange one. Thank you.
Yeah.
And you landed in the 1st wave with
That's right. They needed a little labor in the 1st wave. The Marines couldn't carry everything, you know. There were boxes of ammunition, medical supplies, things like that. So they got a small contingent from our SeaBee battalion. We went in with them.
All young kids.
There's a good picture on YouTube, I think, or some of the things with all of these boats lined up going in. taken from way up in the air. And I told people, I'm on one of those. I'll give you a nickel if you find me.
To me, it's an amazing, amazing part of your life. Amazing to me that we can be talking to someone who landed in the first wave at Peleliu when you recognize just how terrible that battle was, how many casualties there were, and you weren't even carrying a rifle.
No, no, no. If we had to fight, we did, but this was just supporting. I can say that I survived by hiding behind the Marines. They were really brave and they had a tough time.
But what you saw, what you experienced is incredible, unique experience. Not too many of you left that can tell us about that.
Well, it's not unique. There were 16 million American service people, but I am left. That's the only virtue, really. I don't deserve all the attention I'm getting, but
Well,
I'm enjoying meeting all these other people who are interested.
Dick, earlier you said that you would tell us your story about what bravery.
Well, I'm I'm never quite sure whether you meet somebody and they're well, is there a question about it? And I had a good friend in the battalion named Tommy. He was a boxing champion of the battalion. He was tough. Nobody messed with him. I made a good friend with him, so nobody messed with me. That worked out pretty well. But he was really tough, not scared of anything. And when we were carrying those boxes of ammunition and things, we were on a boat that ran into a reef. We had to take everything off that boat and walk the rest of the way through about 3-4 feet of water. And as we did that, the Japanese started shooting at us. And Tommy dropped his box and dove underwater, scared to death. And all these guys who never would have said a word to Tommy on shore just kept walking. So ever since, I've decided not to make quick judgments about whether a man is brave or not. You never know until the opportunity presents itself.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Todd, what do you think we ought to do? Should we continue with Richard and just?
Well, not if you got somebody interesting. I'm just old, You've got people who have good stories to tell.
Tell the group about how you met Harry Truman. That was very interesting to me.
How what? Oh,
You
that's
met
got
Harry
nothing.
Truman,
That's got
I know.
nothing to do.
but that was interesting, Dick.
Well, if you don't have anything else, I'll tell you about it. I was in Kansas City some years, a long time ago, it was about 1960, I guess, on a business trip. And I decided that, I didn't have anything to do the next day, and why not drive out to Independence and go through the Truman Museum? And I said, well, maybe I might be able to get a picture of him. I called them up. And I said, well, Mr. Truman will be coming tomorrow morning. And they said, yes, he always shows up at 8 o'clock. So I went there and I walked around to the back where a hidden entrance was with my camera, about 10 minutes to 8. And at 8 o'clock, the door opened and a woman sticked her head out and said, you may come in now, but I'll have to keep that camera for you. Well, I walked in. And we stood there for just a few minutes. And then she said, the president will see you now. And he opened the door and I walked into a room and here he came a distance with his hand out and said, good morning, I'm Harry Truman. And we just started talking in general. And when he found out I was from Alabama and right near Selma, Alabama, where all the segregation and integration problems were going on at that time, I just lost you as a picture. Do you care?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
There you are. There you are. When he found out I was from there, he said, let's sit down and talk about this.
Okay, I'm going to hang up.
Okay.
No, that was somebody else. coming
Oh,
through.
okay. Well, I get hung up on a lot, so I just assumed that was for me.
Sorry about that.
It was a nice big room. We sat down on the couch and we talked for about half an hour. And then he was very gracious as we left. And there were two men sitting in the waiting room as I left. I found out later they were the governor of the state and a senator. They were sitting there waiting while I was talking to Truman. But the lady gave me my camera and I left and I never got a picture. But I certainly did enjoy meeting Mr. Truman and talking with him privately.
That's wonderful. Dick, we had somebody ask in the chat, Ben Wright, he said he would like to know more about what you helped build when you were a Seabee.
Airstrips, since I was very young and not a carpenter or anything in the Seabees, I was sort of, well, just a workhorse. So I ran a jackhammer and things of that nature, nothing exciting. So we had to do dynamiting and truck in coral and roll it down and that sort of thing. So that's nothing really exciting. The airstrip was already there. The Japanese had one, but it became in terrible shape after the battleships had been shooting at it for a couple of weeks before we got there. And so it had to be repaired and redone. We got it in pretty good shape pretty quickly, though, for airplanes to come in.
Well, in general, you joined so soon. I mean, I think the Navy's Seabees were born March 5th of 42, maybe, I believe.
Well,
and you
I'd have to look that up. I don't know.
Yeah, I know my uncle who was in Vietnam as a Seabee told me that it was like they were the redheaded stepchildren when it came to uniforms and other things. They weren't in the Navy, but they weren't the Marines. But he did say he spent most of his time with Marines, and it sounded like from what you said earlier, that was the case for you as well.
Yes, I was in the Navy, but never assigned to a ship. I was just a passenger on ships. We were assigned to Marines all the time.